That's how we sit back and look at it. But now as we sit back and and also the main reason why you sit back and I look at, that Abigail would be the master in this instance, because it says she took 2 bottles of wine and 200 loaves of bread. You know what I'm saying? She brought the bread and the wine. Mm-hmm. You see, we done looked at that in the past. You know what I'm saying? So let's go over here to John 14 and 21. Because he said, if you love your master, and you're going to stay there, then he say, he'll drive an awl in your ear. And he said, you'll be his servant forever. John 14 and 21. He said, he that have my commandments and keep them, he it is that love me. And he that love me shall be loved of my Abba. And I will love him and I will manifest myself to him. You know what I'm saying? So what do we see from that? He say a slave will sit back and say, now what would make them a slave? He say, we dealt with this before. This means their ear be circumcised. You sitting back looking at driving an awl or a nail through their ear. But also this sitting back, going back to what we talked about a few weeks ago in that Psalms 18. He said, as soon as they hear of me, they shall be obedient unto me. See, this is one of the things we were talking about, that faith come by hearing. We're going to look at it in a minute. Faith come by hearing and hearing come by the word. And just sit back and look at it. How many times would it take for you to hear the word before you believed it? You know what I'm saying? We'll believe somebody. You believe the people at the bank that your money is covered by insurance. You don't question them about it. You know what I'm saying? You believe your employer when they tell you he going to put that check in your direct deposit. At the end of that pay period, you don't ask no questions. You believe he going to do it. I'm talking about just looking at natural stuff that people tell us that you trust that they going to do exactly what they say. You know what I'm saying? But yet we hear the word of Elohim and we don't trust what he say. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff like, man, people trust a lot of people on some natural stuff, don't ask no questions. You know what I'm saying? Don't have no problems. Oh, yeah, I know he going to do that. Oh, I know he going to do that. You know what I'm saying? You could drop your car off to the shop and be like, I know they going to fix my car. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that drop their car to the shop, they come back, everything gone. You know what I'm saying? For real. Niggas take everything. Look how many people that trust people, financial advisors, they trust these people, they going to do something with their money, come back, all their money gone. You know what I'm saying? And you trust these people on what they selling, but yet what y'all selling, people here, I don't know about that. I might have to do a little bit more research on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. If you know the word part is, we'll believe Mr. Charlie in a heartbeat. We'll believe the white man in a heartbeat. You know the worst thing you'll ever see is that you could be a black man and tell another black man something, he don't believe you. Let a white man come and tell the same thing, he jump right on it. I've seen that happen. You know what I'm saying? I've been a party to it. What I'm telling the nigga something, he ain't believe it. White dude came up and said the same thing. Oh yeah. I'm like, look at this nigga. I've been telling you that for the last 15 minutes. This man walked up and made one statement in 2 minutes, and you believed it? Because we don't trust each other like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe that a black person don't believe a nigga know nothing to be able to tell you something. But we trust Mr. Charlie. What I'm mentioning is where's our trust at with Yahuwah at all? Cause I say, man, that's my opinion. I do have some book to a certain extent for it. It don't take no 6-7 months to believe this word, man. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Psalms 18 say as soon as they hear me, they'll be obedient to me, you gonna believe. If you hear see, that's the point of actually preaching the master. Because once you hear the master, see, I can preach the law to you. You may not believe that. Preach the master to you. You'll believe on him. Then you'll be like, well, what it is he want me to do? He done bought me with his blood too. I'll gladly be his slave. You mean he say he didn't have my commandments and he that is that love me. Now you talking about a slave that say, I don't want to go. I love my master. I like his instructions. I like it here. I like his house. Well, what do we also read in John 14? In my father's house, there's what? Many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. I don't want to leave here. I'm going to be your servant forever. Now, you know full well can't no man be nobody's servant forever. So you think they're talking about a natural man being somebody's slave forever? That's talking about us being his slave forever. Just like Stephen said in Acts chapter 7, he said, you uncircumcised in heart and ear. Just like your father, stiff-necked. You can't hear the word. You can't listen. You don't want to listen. So we sitting back. Look, that's why he say, he that have an ear, let him hear. I done opened up your ear to the word because you mind, you want to be my slave. Now we go to Romans chapter 10 and 13. Ten and 9. You enjoying yourself up under that table, ain't it? Well, your homeboy had a deal. There's your homeboy had a deal. I didn't know. Oh boy, you know that's serious. I'm gonna leave you out here in the car. Oh, she was in the hall. I'm gonna leave you in the car. He said, if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Master Yahushua, and shalt believe in thy heart that Elohim had raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Now, how can you believe something from your heart? Your heart is your mind. You know what I'm saying? So in order for you to believe something, something has to be, you have to process this and think on it. He say, for with the heart man believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. You hearing the slave saying, I confess, I love my master, I like it here. You know what I'm saying? What is righteousness? He believed on Yahuwah, he counted to him for righteousness. The faith, for a man to say, I want to stay a slave, you have to believe that your master is the best thing for you. He say, for the scripture say, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. Anybody that believe on you, I wouldn't be shamed. But you got a lot of people walking around here saying they believe, but yet they walk around here shamed on the daily. For there is no difference between the Yahudim and the Greek, for the same master over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the master shall be saved. For guess what he tell you though? How then shall you call on him on whom they have not believed? So you saying, oh, I'm calling on Yahushua, I'm calling on G. If you ain't believe, how can you call on him? You just calling on somebody. You just saying a name. He said, how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard? Well, how you gonna believe on the man if you ain't never heard of him? That's why most Israelites be lacking, because they ain't never heard of it. That's why when you see the apostles preaching, you don't see them preaching the law first. They taught people the law, but that's not what they came with. When you look at most people when they come, so you need to keep the commandments, brother. So you need to put that pork away. You need to keep that Sabbath. You don't see them coming. When you see Peter standing out there on Pentecost, that man ain't come at them people with no law. That man came straight by the Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? When you see Paul preaching, you heard what he said. He said, this is the hope that we serve him day and night for. Our hope is the Son. Our promise and the promise that's in the Son. What is the promise in the Son? Eternal life. Freedom from sin and death. You know what I'm talking about? The Ruach HaKodesh, a kingdom to dwell with the Father. These are the promises. That's what's attached to the covenant. The land. All these things. That's why we serve them day and night, because I believe the promise. That's what I want. I got respect unto the reward. That's what I want. Therefore, I don't have a problem being a slave unto this man, because I know he gonna pay me well. That's why he say they'll be tributaries to you. They'll serve you forever. If there's shalom in the house, if they be found worthy, and you come in the house and you say shalom, and they say, well, shoot, man, it's all grave over here, man. Well, shoot, you my servant then. That's what he's looking at when the word coming to your physical tabernacle or physical vessel or physical house. When he come in there, is there shalom here? Oh, it's here. Okay, you be my servant forever. But when you got a proud and stubborn heart and you want to do your own will, then you ain't gonna find no shalom here. He say, let dust your feet off on the high. It'll be better. It'll be better for Sodom and Gomorrah than them. It ain't no difference, because you got to look at your physical body as a home. This is a tabernacle. This is a house. All it is covering up the spirit and the soul that's in you. You know what I'm talking about? And the heart that's in you, or the mind that's in you. And every mind, every house he go to, ain't no shalom in it. That's why he turn off and dust his feet off. I don't want to do that, nigga. Ain't none of mine. That's why he say, I know you. The love of Elohim ain't in you. You don't want to be my slave. He say, my slave will love me and say, I love his house. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? He say, abide in me and I in you. That means dwell in my house. Dwell in the tents of in my courts. You just sit back and look at where you dwelling at. Where do you reside? You commit sin, you can't reside in the Son. That's not gonna happen. He say that he that's joined to the master is one ruach. How that gonna happen? If you ain't got no faith, you can't dwell in that man. How you gonna dwell in somebody you don't even trust? You know what I'm saying? We don't trust y'all like that. That's why you don't trust those who come in his name. And I put it to you like this here. You could go try to find 1,000 preachers. If they all preaching the truth, they're going to say the same thing I'm saying. So you ain't going to go nowhere else and get nothing different. If they real, you can go somewhere else and get something different. They may not be something by y'all. They telling you what you want to hear, or appeasing your flesh, or justifying your wicked behavior, or justifying a lack of faith. Because you ain't got no faith, I guarantee you're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? You just really serving in vain. You know what I'm saying? You just doing something just to be doing it. Just to say you could go to Sunday church for that. You know what I'm saying? Because they doing something just to be doing something. You know what I'm talking about? We just coming up here, show up, put on some nice clothes, and see each other and pat each other on the back. And some gonna be leaving out of here, gonna be going home with a boy, and he a boy, and some of them transgenders, and some of them bobbing for apples, and some of them sleeping with the pastor. And the deacon stealing money out the bank. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff going on, but we show up every Easter though. We make every meeting, all that, and niggas cool with that. You know what I'm saying? This ain't something just to be doing, something just to be doing it. It is literally your life. This is literally a life and death matter. He said, how shall they preach? I'm sorry. He said, how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of shalom and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Yeshayahu saith, Yahuwah, who have believed our report. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word of Elohim. You can't believe it if you ain't heard it. That's why he say, as soon as they hear of me, they'll be obedient. Because when you hear it, you're going to want to be his slave. Because this is not a rough master you sitting back looking at. He say, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That means he's not going to be a taskmaster to his slaves. You know what I'm saying? We could go into the house, but we got the roll. You know, that house is Jerusalem, the temple. He say Yahuwah Elohim and the master or the lamb are the temple of it. So to say I want to dwell in his house forever is to say I want to be in the Son forever. Come back to Deuteronomy 15. So we look at that 16 again. Say it shall be if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loved thee and thy house, because he is well with thee. You know what that sit back and remind me of when he looked at Peter and all them. He said, will you go away also? And he said, where we gonna go? You got the words of eternal life. It's well for me here. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't leaving from this. You know, that's the crazy part about it. And then sit back and look at, if you know the words of eternal life are there, why would you leave? Unless you actually don't believe them words and you just really trying to convince yourself that you believe in words because you really want to go do other things. Because he ain't really your master and you ain't really his slave. That's what I was telling y'all on. I can't jump up and go do what everybody else can go do. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if it was some brother preaching, I'd say, yeah, I'm going to take a vacation, man. I'll be back next Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? Because I know such and such can preach on Wednesday. I'm going to still preach from where I'm at, but I know there's somebody physically there. You know what I'm saying? That can do it in my absence. But if ain't nobody physically there, I can't go do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't go do that. They sit back like, man, you ain't sinning if you, maybe you not. You know what I'm saying? I can't do what you can do. I can't do that. You can. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel like I can just pull it up and watch it live while I'm at. But I can't go with you. Because that means I'm forsaking the vineyard. I like this here. He say, what he say about it? He say, the hirelings, they don't care for the flock. They flee when the wolf come. Nigga don't care because I'm a hireling. I ain't got no care for these people. So I can dip out and move when I want to move. You know what I'm saying? But y'all know how down I was like this here. My flesh like, come here for what? I don't even want to be here, but you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I had lost my faith, then guess what? I wouldn't have came. You know what I'm saying? I'd have pick and chose when I came. Nigga been calling my phone, where you at? Laying here down. I'm asleep right now, man. I ain't coming. What you mean you ain't coming? Just what I said, hang up the phone. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like what Paul, look at 1 Corinthians chapter 9, about verse 16. Look at something what Paul said. Then we come back to Deuteronomy 20. But see, I don't mind though, because I feel like how Paul feel. 9 and 16. He say, for though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to esteem of, for necessity is laid upon me. Destruction, woe is unto me, if I preach not the gospel. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. What is my reward then? Truly that when I preach the gospel, I make the gospel of Mashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. You see what he said? Necessity has been laid upon me. And if you remember what is go back in the law, because who the ones who taught the law? The priests, right? Necessity was laid upon them that they taught the law. That's what Numbers 18 tell you. So when Paul is making this statement, he's just referencing the law. A necessity, a need has been laid upon me. He said, I ought to be destroyed if I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I sit back and look at it. I ought to die and go to hell if I feel like what I want to do or what the people around me want to do supersedes what this man told me to go do. You know what I'm saying? You sit back and look at it. That's why you look at most people, that's why they don't want to be with somebody who preach the word, because you don't live a regular life. You know what I'm saying? You sit back and look at, now I know Christian pastors, they be working long hours, doing all type of stuff, don't they? You know what I'm saying? And shoot, I don't know if most people like this, because you always gonna be working for the Most High. Even though these people ain't serving him right, they feel like in what they doing, they working for him. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and look at your family, if you with a woman who don't understand or respect that, she's gonna resent that. Because she wants to do this and she wants to do that and she wants to do this, and we can't do that. Unless you telling lies and stealing, then you can do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, it pastors fly all across the world and all across the country, balling out on the people. Deuteronomy 20. What about verse 12? That's why he said you'll make war against it and besiege it. So since you want to reject the word, he gonna bring damnation on it. In verse 13, when you thy Elohim have delivered it unto thy hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, thou shalt take unto thyself. Thou shalt eat the spoil of thy enemies, which Yahuwah thy Elohim have given thee. Thou shalt do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations, but of the cities of these people which Yahuwah thy Elohim doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breathe. Now that's hard one right there. That man say kill every last one of them. Why? That's another thing when you sit back and you see him coming for the nations and treading the wrath of the winepress of the wrath of the Almighty Elohim. Don't leave none of them alive. None of them. Thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, as Yahuwah thy Elohim have commanded thee. This is why he's telling you to destroy them, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations which they have done unto their gods, so you should sin against Yahuwah your Elohim. This is why he tell you don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Evil communications corrupt good manners. This is why he tell you this, because this man sat back and say, this is the reason why you're going to kill them all. Because they're going to teach you to sin. This is why you're going to kill them. So now you know you can't kill nobody now, right? So if you coming into the inheritance, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, then what is that telling you? Can't have no dealing with sinners. They going to teach you to do what they do with their gods. You see what I'm saying? He say, listen to this here though. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time and making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou may eat of them. And thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. Only the trees which thou know that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy and cut them down. And thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that make war with thee until it be subdued. What do y'all think about when you hear those last two verses, that 19 and 20? Because he telling you, son, let me get this thing up here for this bulwark. He says, hey, man, he said, you've been fighting the city for a long time. He said, don't destroy the tree thereof by forcing an axe against it. He said, thou may eat of them. He said, don't cut them down. He say, for the tree of a field is man's life, to employ them in the siege. Well, let's look at employing them in the siege. We look at employ, it is both. It is to go, to in, enter, to come in, to fall light upon attack, to attain, to lead, to carry in. So you'll take this tree to come in to the siege. What would be the siege? At least in our language, we know what siege is in English. It says panim. It means face, faces, presence, or person, face of a seraphim or a cherubim. So basically, we're looking at don't cut them down because it is to employ them in the siege. I just forgot what that was, and I just looked at it. To employ. To go in. So basically, it says that to employ the tree of the field is a man's life, that you may go into his face. So don't cut this tree down so you can go into his face. So what would you think about on that? He say the trees that you know that don't have no trees, that don't be no trees for me, you destroy them and cut them down. That's correct, because he say trees for meat, right? Say hold this right here and look at Revelation 22.
I was going to say in Revelation he said don't harm the tree, something like that.
22 and 1. Oh, you talking about in like 8 or 9, chapter 8 or 9, right?
When he say don't hurt the tree.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Revelation 22 and 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, on either side of the river, was there the tree of life. Remember, he said the tree is a man's life, which bare 12 manner of fruits and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation. That means that tree was for meat, then what? Because Ezekiel 47 specifically say it's for meat. Well, let's go back and look at the law then in Genesis chapter 1 then, I don't know. Genesis chapter 1, about verse 11. Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the rats. And it was so. And the rats brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. Elohim saw that it was good, in the evening, in the morning, was the third day. So again, he said back and see now, the tree that brought forth fruit, don't cut that tree down, right? On the third day, and he said a tree is a man's life. Well, let's look at something here in Genesis chapter 2, and let's sit back and see what he promised. Genesis 2 and about verse 15. Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eat of it, therefore thou shalt surely die. Sorry, I missed that. Back it up to about 9 or 8 is where we mentioned what we want to look at. Yahuwah Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuwah Elohim made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He said, don't cut that tree down. That's a tree for a man's life, right? Now we're going to look at something about a choice this woman makes. But before we look at this choice that this woman makes, let's look at John 7:24. Probably about 20 though. Well, make it 9, says 20 is cool. The people answered and said, thou hast a devil. Who goeth about to kill thee? Yahushua answered and said unto them, I've done one work, and ye all marvel. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers, and ye on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. If a man on the Shabbat day receive circumcision, that the Torah of Moses should not be broken, are you angry at me because I have made a man every whit whole on the Shabbat day? Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they judge things based on how it looks. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks a particular way, so it's got to be right. But let's go back and let's look at the mistake that Eve makes in Genesis chapter 3 when she looked at the tree. All we just want to sit back and look at is what her statement was. 3 and 5. But make it 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Elohim doth know in that day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. See, this man ain't never want you to know nothing about good and evil, but you wanted to know. And it was a sole product because he told you not to do something. Now you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just like the brother say he brought that. Now, if we would say, don't go in that room over there. And don't tell you no, like I said, you go in that room over there, your hand gonna get cut off. It's gonna be an ignorant nigga that's gonna want to go in that room just to see. You know what I'm saying? Just to see. Then when his hand get cut off, man, why you ain't tell me my hand was gonna get cut off? Nigga did tell you that. Most of y'all know that if you tell somebody not to do something, they want to do it just because you told them not to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just that natural inclination to rebel. You know what I'm saying? That's what people do. Don't tell me not to do something. Now I want to do it. He says, and the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. And she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. So she said, it looked good. It looked real pleasant. It looked real nice. It seems like something I would really, really want. But yet you died, though. Because you had a decision and a choice that you could have made. You could have listened to Yah and got blessed. You listened to yourself. You listened to the adversary, and you got damned. But it looked good, though. It looked pleasant. It looked like it'll make me wise. You judged according to the appearance. You didn't judge righteous judgment because you already know what the man told you. Y'all know everything that looked good ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at Romans 7:7. Then get your Hebrews 5:12. I still ain't get that Hebrews 10:21. We work around that to it. See, look at this here, right? What shall we say then? Is the Torah sin? Elohim forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the Torah. For I had not known lust except the Torah had said, thou shalt not covet. So when he told him and her not to eat from that tree, her lust, her desire to want to do something overcame good judgment. So therefore, you saw what you wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to see that because that's what you wanted to do. You know what I'm talking about? Now you sitting back looking at, you went from a tree which didn't have no meat on it. And because you went and took from a tree that didn't have no meat on it, you died. Like, how you gonna sit back and look at how you gonna get fruit from a fruitless tree? Because we gonna read what the master say to do to a tree that ain't bringing forth no fruit. You know what I'm saying? That tree ain't got no fruit on it. You don't serve no purpose. He say, but sin taken occasion by the commandment wrought in me all manner of conspicuous. For without the Torah, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once. See how she was alive without it once? But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. But when this man came and told you not to do this here and you went against it, you died. But it looked good though and pleasant to the eye. We sit back and look at it, no something killing our soul and still go and do it. And guess what Adam did? Stamped it. And guess what we do when we see something killing our people's soul? Stamped it. You know what I'm saying? He could have stood up and told, oh, no, I can't participate in that with you. He went right along with it. And that's what we do when we see our people ensnared in sin or snared in something that's killing them spiritually. We don't want to say nothing. Shoot, go on and say something. Nigga get mad, they'll get over it. You know what I'm saying? At least you ain't got no blood on your hands. You know what I'm saying? At least you kept the law and say you ain't suffered no sin upon your brother. They're like, man, you know what you're doing. You're going to hell, right? I can see you dying spiritually. If ain't nobody else going to tell you you're dying spiritually, let me be the first. He said, and the commandment which was ordained to life I found to be unto death. For sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me. This is the reason why he tell you to cut them trees down. This is the reason why he told you to kill all them nations. Don't let none of them breathe. Because when you surround yourself with it, you going to fall into sin and you going to go against Elohim. Guaranteed. He warned us too many times about that. You know what I'm saying? He warned us too many times about that. Hebrews 5 and 12. Try to find out there what you were talking about too, Stand. Hebrews 5 and 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Elohim, and become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. For everyone that use milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. So if you got to sit back and look at, you got to start all over again, you's a baby. I ain't even talking about on no teaching tip, just period. You's a baby, and ain't no way in the world you got to go back to the first principles. That shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But it happens regularly though. He says, but strong meat belong to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. See, obviously she wasn't of strong age. They didn't have their senses to discern. That's why she thought it was meat on that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's why she thought that. You know what I'm saying? She thought I could get some meat off of this. Because he said that tree that giving up meat, he said, don't cut that down. You know what I'm saying? He said, that's a man's life. Come back to Deuteronomy chapter 20 and read it one more time. I can get there. So listen to what he say one more time in verse 19. When thou shalt besiege the city a long time and making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou may eat of them, and thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life to go into his face. Only the trees which thou know that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy them and cut them down. That man had already told you the tree of knowledge of good and evil wasn't for meat, wasn't it? That wasn't for you to eat. That wasn't meat. That was poisonous food. But when you sit back and you look at the decision making of the choice that's made, see, the choice that made cost her life. You know what I'm saying? We sit back and look at the choices you make can cost you your soul. You know what I'm saying? When Esau made the choice that he despised his birthright and he sold it for a morsel of meat, all that crying and all that he did, it wasn't going to get him that blessing. Don't you realize every time you commit sin, you despise your birthright, you're not going to get that blessing. And all the tears in the world ain't going to change that. You know what I'm saying? That's something you have to register in your brain. All the tears in the world ain't going to make y'all go back on their word. He said, I swear in my wrath, you ain't getting in here. Because guess what? If you make it in, you deserved it. You go to hell, that was your payment. You earned that. The wages of sin is death. That's the payment. You go to hell, you got there on your own. You ain't got nobody to blame. You can't point the finger at the teacher. You can't point the finger at the people. You can only look in the mirror and point the finger at yourself. You got yourself here. You got yourself here. It's easy. See, the one thing about it, right? When you're doing wrong, it's easier to blame somebody else than to take responsibility for what you're doing wrong. It's easier to push that blame off on somebody else and push the buck off on somebody else than to take responsibility for what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to do that. See, it's his fault. It's his fault. Or I don't do this because, no, you do this because that's what you want to do. Look at James 1 and 13, just because I said that. James 1 and 12. 1 and 12. Baruch is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the master have promised to them that love him. I know I mentioned that Isaiah 28. We might be able to work that in a minute. Maybe not. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim, for Elohim cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempt he any man. The reason why I sit back and read that, if you feeling yourself being tempted, that ain't y'all. He ain't got nothing to do with it. He ain't got nothing to do with it. Because y'all don't tempt nobody. So when temptation come around, guess who that is? Because y'all going to take you from temptation. So if temptation come around, y'all ain't even going to lead you to temptation. You know what I'm saying? So if you finding yourself, that means Satan is in the midst because he's the tempter. That's all he do is tempt and accuse. That's all he do is tempt and accuse. So when you get in a situation where you feel yourself being, because y'all is not going to put you in a position where you're going to be tempted or lead you in a position to commit sin. So if you know you're in that position of one or two reasons. Because you chose to go in that direction or the devil tempted you. Because you already had a desire in your heart to do this anyway. And he already know you had a desire in your heart to do it anyway. And all it took was the right situation and circumstances for that to come out. He said, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and intent. You see how that drawn away, how we talking about that fading flower, that falling off. You drawn away, that means you falling away from the Most High. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you go to sit back getting enticed and you getting drawn away, that means you're getting pulled away from Yahuwah. Then when lust hath conceived, it bring forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bring forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren. Because when that desire come up, it's going to give birth to sin, and then you're going to die. And if you know better, like you can sit back and look at it, right? If you got knowledge of the truth, this man say ain't no sacrifice for anybody who sinned willfully. You know what I'm saying? So you sit back and look at it, man, what you going to do with that? What if he decided to say, you ain't got but one time, and it's over with? Because before he said it wouldn't be no sacrifice for sin with Eli, that he wouldn't have no sacrifice to purge the sin of Eli, he sat back and watched Eli, knew what his sons were doing all that time and never refrained them and restrained them. You know what I'm saying? Now, how are you going to sit back and you know you doing wrong and you like this here? And you know the crazy part is, you doing all that sinning and then you asking y'all to bless you. You know what I'm saying? Or you asking him to give him something you want and you ain't got to know wherewithal to know he ought to kill me. Then when the man chastises and rebuke you, you don't even sit back and realize that's coming from him, so your behavior would change. And you want somebody to encourage you, because the judgment of y'all, I ain't finna encourage you in the judgment of y'all in your head. I'm not finna do that. Not me. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I can discern between good and evil. Well, I know when y'all busting you upside your head and when it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Just like this here. That nigga say he went one time and he had already been told, boy, don't you go in them Christian people place and play no music. That man went around there and the elbow broke. Right after he stopped doing it, it's like it healed out of nowhere. Them people told him it's supposed to be like this here. He didn't let you know, don't play with me. Because you already knew, don't take your black behind in here. I ain't had to say nothing to him. He already knew once to have. Oh, I know he did that. I ain't going around there no more. You know what I'm saying? That's all it took with one time that he ain't go back there. That's all it took, one time. Because if you got enough discernment, you know when y'all coming to see you. And you know why he came to see you. You know what I'm saying? And once he come to see you, if you fear him and you don't trust him and you gonna obey him, you're gonna be like, you know what? I don't do that no more. I know that's him. You know what I'm saying? Niggas sit back wonder, I wonder why that happened to me. Maybe it was the lying you were doing. Could it be the fornication? Could it be the stealing? Could it be doing your own pleasure on the Shabbat? Could it be the maliciousness or the spitefulness that's in your heart? You know what I'm saying? Could it be that? You ain't never think he might come around there and see you for that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you know. Now he punish everybody. You know what I'm saying? But it's different when you know. He say, you only have I known of all the nations of the earth. He said, therefore I punish you for all your iniquities. So if we sit back and be like, we name ourselves after the name of Mashiach, then that means he's supposed to know us. I mean, I'm not going to come and see somebody who don't know me versus somebody who's supposed to know me. You see what I'm saying? What is it, Revelation chapter, 8? Or is it 9? Revelation 9, that's what it is, about verse 4. Yeah, that's what you came in here. That go right there with the law, what we looking at. And then we're going to come and look at Luke chapter 13. Matthew chapter 12. He says, and it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the Arats, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Elohim in their forehead. That means you became a fading flower. Because guess what come up out the grass? The flower, right? You done became a fading flower. I mean, you done allowed that gold plate on that mitre, that Kadesh to Yahuwah, that done faded out your head. Now, we already read it in Bereshit of Genesis chapter 1 about the green grass, right? And the herb yielding seed and the fruit yielding, the tree yielding fruit after his own kind. That's why he say don't hurt that. Because he just doing what he say the law say. If the tree brings forth fruit and the tree is for a man's life, don't touch that. Because we know who the tree of life is, right? That's Hamashiach. He say, I am the vine, ye are the branches, abide in me and I in you, and you shall bring forth much fruit. He say, if you come up out of me, I'm going to wither you and I'm going to burn you. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at Luke 13 though. And we'll get John 15 just so you can hear him say it himself. 13:6. Luke 13:6. Oh, Lucas 13:6. He spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and saw fruit thereon and found none. Then he said unto the dresser of his vineyard, behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit. Didn't he say that you would besiege that place for a long time? He said, I came around here looking for fruit for 3 years. That was a long time to be looking for some fruit, ain't it? That was a long time. Now you see what he said right there in Deuteronomy 20:19. They say when you besiege a city a long time. 3 years a long time, right? He said, then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why cumber it to the ground? And he answering said unto him, Master, let it alone this year also, till I should dig about and dung it. And if it bear fruit, well. And if not, then after that thou shalt cut it down. So he said, give it a little time, see if it bears some fruit. Give it a little time. He said, but if it don't bear no fruit, what it said? Cut it down. And what did the law say? Cut it down. And what did John the Baptist say? The axe is laid to the root of the trees, didn't it? Let's look at Matthew chapter 3 for that. Three and 6. So we got to sit back and look at if the tree of the field is for man's life that calls you to enter into the see the face. And we see that the tree was good for meat, it give meat, then guess what this tree talking about? Talking about how the master say, my flesh is meat indeed. And when you eat this man's flesh, then you be able to enter in to see the face of who? Elohim. But if you ain't bringing forth no fruit, got to cut you down. You know what I'm saying? You got to cut you down. And were immersed of him in Jordan, confessing their sins. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his immersion, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come. Why he ain't give them no encouragement and say, come on, brothers, come down and get immersed. Everybody's got to be saved, brother. Come, you say, man, you wicked bastards, you snakes. Who told you niggas to come around here? Listen what he tell them. Bring forth therefore fruits, meet for repentance. If you're going to come, make sure. So guess what that means, right? If it ain't bringing forth no fruit, cut it down. You know what I'm saying? What he say right here in the law? Only trees that thou know that be not trees for meat. So if you ain't bringing forth no fruits, meat for repentance, ain't no meat on this tree, cut it down. It don't serve no purpose. And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father. For I say unto you that Elohim is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. Because everybody is not of Yasharal, that's of Yasharal. He said the children of the flesh are not counted for the seed, but the children of the promise. Because in Isaac thy seed shall be called. You're going to have to be born of the word. You're going to have to bring forth that fruit. He said, and now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Did he sit back and tell you don't take that axe to destroy a tree by forcing the axe against it? He said the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Therefore every tree which bring not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. John telling you what the law say. The axe laid is here. We can't force the axe against a tree that you may eat from. Don't cut that down. He said, but if it ain't bringing forth no fruit, it ain't no tree for no meat, cut it down and burn it. You know what I'm saying? So now we have to look at something when we look at ourselves. If we ain't bringing forth no fruit, that man say you ought to be cut down. And when we talk about cut down, that means being cut off. You know what I'm saying? Because if you cut a tree down, he just cut one down yesterday. You cut that tree off from the what? From the root. Look at that, what it is. Hebrews chapter 3. Hebrews 3. This will allow me to work that Psalms 106 in. I ain't gonna try that. Isaiah 28. While it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit, not all that came up out of Mizraim by Moses. You heard what he said? Some of them heard the word, they tried the man and rebelled. Say not everybody though. So guess what that means? You know, the book of Ecclesiastes say what? Ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So that means in every congregation all across the world, it's going to be some people who hear the word and it's going to be some people who rebel. Straight up. Like niggas think, oh, it's a different time. And there ain't nothing new under the sun. That means the mentality of men ain't never changed. Only thing changed was names and faces. He say, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, who carcasses fell in the wilderness? And to whom swear he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. They were cut off. Boy, that was so fake, bro. Like straight up. It wasn't nothing real about that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reprobate mind. To be rejected, to be cut off. Because you ain't bringing forth no fruit. Matthew 12 and 33. Then John 15 and 1. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or either else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by its fruit. O generation of vipers. Again, it's the master calling people snakes. How can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. So how can you be wicked, speak something good? Because it say Yahuwah is abundant in goodness and truth. How can you speak good words and you evil? That's what our words say, man. You can't speak good things and be evil. That mean the things you speak and what that mean they not. That mean they ain't good, is it? A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bring forth good things. And an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bring forth evil things. I know that's the other one. Look at this. Look at Matthew chapter 7. I'm trying to sit back and look at it. Make it 7 and 16. This is the same key thing because we looking at there's a difference. That means he said this is by action. This is what people don't sit back and realize. Our law teach us to go by what somebody do. So nobody doesn't have to tell you anything for you to make a determination on somebody if I'm sitting there watching you. Ye shall know them by their, well, make it 15. He say, beware of false prophets which come into you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? So even so, every good tree bring forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bring forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. You know what I'm saying? So you sit back and look at it. If you got sin, you can't bring forth good fruit. It's not going to happen. Just like the same way if you corrupt, you can't bring forth nothing good. And if you good, you can't bring forth nothing evil. That's what that's going back to is if you lose your faith, you're going to start doing stuff evil, which means you were an evil tree, a corrupt tree to begin with. You know what I'm saying? You weren't never a good tree. Listen what he say now. Every tree that bring not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Is this not what Deuteronomy 20 is telling us? That the tree is a man's life? So you can sit back and look at it. The fruit which you bear witness of that tree, that's a man's life. This is what's going to give you life. Because again, we're looking at the tree is for meat. This man say, my flesh is meat indeed. And the meat that I give is my flesh, which is for the life of the world. That's why he say, don't cut that tree down. So even though he killed the master, even though the master died, I mean, when I say he, I'm talking about Abba, even though the father killed the master, he didn't cut him down because he didn't let his Kadesh one see corruption. So he didn't cut that tree down. He cut it down, but it grew back though. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, Daniel chapter 4. What that is? Daniel 4 and 13. Because we got to put it, we got to make it right this in case the name be like, no, you got to do it like this here. 4 and 13. Make it 12. Matter of fact, let's make it 9. O Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know the Ruach of the Kadesh gods is in thee, no secret trouble thee. Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of my head and my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the Arats, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto Shamahim, and the sight thereof to the end of all the Arats. Just like they seen the man on the stake reaching up to Shamahim. They seen it. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and it was meat for all. The beasts of the field and the shad had shadow under it, and the fowls of Shamahim dwelt in the bowls thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. Why you say my flesh is meat indeed? Don't cut down that tree. The tree is for a man's life. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, and a Kadesh one came down from Shamahim. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches. Shake off his leaves and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in their rats, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of Shamahim, and let his portion be with the beasts of the grass of the Arat. Do you say he say let the stump stay in the earth? See, you see what he said? He say let the stump of his roots. So, I mean, he cut it down, but don't cut off the root. Then he say, leave it in there because it'll be wet with bands of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, that it be wet with the dew of Shamahim. Well, let's look at the iron and brass. What you do with iron and brass, right? Lock them up, right? Then they put them in fetters of iron. Well, let's look at Acts chapter 2. That's why I say he cut it. But he say leave the stump or the roots. Why? Because that means he can grow back. Acts 2 and 22. Ye men of Yasharal, hear these words. Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of Elohim among you by miracles and wonders and signs which Elohim did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know, him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of Elohim, you have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain, whom Elohim did raise up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be holding of it. So he say he left with iron and brass, right? But he was loose from that. He couldn't be held by death. Death couldn't contain him. Death couldn't hold him. You understand what I'm saying? So you know what the dew was in the grass, right? You know what the tender place of the grass is. The tender place of the grass is Jerusalem. The dew of Shamahim is the Ruach HaKodesh, which rose him from the dead. That's why when we go back and you look in Deuteronomy 20, he say don't cut that down. He say because the tree of the field is man's life. Well, let's look at Deuteronomy 30 and 17. Now, we'll sit back and just think that that's a statute about trees. But that's a statute about the master. This is what I meant last night. The law is your schoolmaster to bring you to Mashiach. Then it's also telling you what's going, we still holding John 15:1, and it's also showing you what's going to happen if you ain't bringing forth proper fruit, proper behavior, the manifestation of the word. 30 and 17, make it 15. Matter of fact, just make it 11, because I won't run it all the way down so that anybody who hear the sound of my voice right now, or anybody who hear it later, when they go look at it, that they gonna hear what the man got to say. For this is the commandment which I command thee this day. It is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in Shamahim that thou shouldst say, who shall go up for us to Shamahim and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and to do it. Neither is beyond the sea that thou shouldst say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Do you steady see how he keeps saying that you may hear it and do it? That's why Paul mentioned in Romans 10, this is the word of faith which we speak, right? Because he's steady telling you, faith come by hearing and hearing come by the word of Allah. You hear it, you gonna do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou may do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil. A choice has been presented unto you. And that I command thee this day to love Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his statutes, and to keep his commandments and his statutes, and his judgments, and that thou may live and multiply. And Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou go to possess. Listen to what he tell you. But if thine heart turn away, if your mind turns away, when you have an evil heart of unbelief and you depart, if your mind turn away, so that thou will not hear. So you see what this is? That's why people don't hear the word, because they don't have a mind to hear it. You done already turned your mind away. You don't want to hear this. He said, but thy heart turn away, that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away. He said, there shall be a great falling away first, right? That fading flower, right? And worship other gods and serve them. Listen to what Moses say. I denounce unto you this day that you shall utterly perish. Now let's look at Hebrew, what this word denounce means. This man say, I denounce you this day. You gonna die. And we know in this instance for us, that means you going to hell. Why would we even let that happen? Why would that happen? He said, I have no pleasure in the death of him that died. But he said, if your heart turn away that you want to go serve other gods, you want to do this here, just know I denounce you. The word is nagad. It literally means to tell, to make known, to declare, to tell, to announce, to report, to expound, to publish, to proclaim. He letting you know. What he say? Cry aloud and what? Lift your voice up like a what? Show the house of Jacob they what? And the house of Yasharel, their transgressions. He said, I'm gonna announce it. You going to hell. This is what Moses is telling them people. That's the same thing. We didn't read it in Luke 13 earlier. He said, oh, you thought them was the most evil men in Jerusalem because the Tower of Shalom fell on them? He said, no. I say, except you repent, you will likewise go to hell. I will announce it this day. I'm going to tell you today, you going. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes people upset. That's what they don't want to hear. They feel like, oh, you teaching condemnation. No, the behavior is being condemned. If you participate in the behavior, then therefore you're condemned because you are a party to that behavior. Because you don't have to choose that behavior. He said, I said before you life and death, blessing and cursing. So guess what you chose? You chose, he said, life and good and death and evil. Good and evil. Same way he said life and good in front of Adam and Eve. And what did they choose? Death and evil. That's what they wanted. So the choice is on you, on what manner of fruit that you're going to produce. Nobody can't make you produce good fruit if you don't have a desire to produce it. And nobody can make you produce evil fruit if you don't have a desire to produce it. He said, I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land which thou passed over Jordan to go to possess it. I call Shamahim and Eretz to record this day against you. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. You don't want to be like Adam and Eve now and choose death. That's why he sat back, and when you look at them two sets of trees that we read in Deuteronomy 20, you're looking at that, life and death, blessing and cursing. He telling you choose life because the tree is a man's life. The tree of the field is man's life. Ain't that something that the tree that was placed in the Garden of Eden in the field is called the tree of life? Ain't that something that the master was buried in the field in the sepulchre which no man ever laid in? That tree in the field, which is man's life? Because eternal life, the gift of Elohim is eternal life by our master Yahushua HaMashiach. And that's what the book say. So this man, this tree is your life. He tell you in Deuteronomy 32, right? Is it Deuteronomy 32? Look at Deuteronomy 32. I think it's Deuteronomy 32. I got it in my head what it say, but I can't remember where it's written at. We gotta look at Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 and 46. Make it 45, 44 though. Deuteronomy 32 and 44. 32 and 44. We still holding John 15 and 1. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Yahusha, the son of Nun, or Hoshea is what it really say right there. And Moses made an end of speaking all these words to all Yasharal. And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify among you this day, which you shall command your children to observe to do all the words of this law. You see what he said? You got to set your mind to it. Look to the next thing he say. For it is not a vain thing for you. These are not worthless words. The word, he say, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. It's the ruach that quicken. The word is profitable to you. It's not vain. For it is not a vain thing for you because it is your life. And through this thing you shall prolong your days in the land whither you go to possess it. It is not a vain thing for you. But we're going to keep going to work this Psalms 106 in before we read John 15. Because he's working it round, so we got to touch it. Yahuwah spake unto Moses that self same day, get thee up into this mountain Abrim, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho. And behold the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Yasharal for a possession. And die in the mount whither thou go up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people. Because you trespassed against me among the children of Yasharal at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because you sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Yasharal. Yet thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Yasharal. Now we're going to look at the name for that Meribah Kadesh. Now he's sitting here telling them, you didn't set me apart. Because what did he tell Moses to do to the rock? He told him to speak to it. He told him to speak to it. He struck it 2 times, but he told him to speak to the rock. But the reason why he didn't speak to the rock is because the people were rebelling and he got angry with them. And we're going to read in Psalms 106 that Yah did not blame Moses, he blamed the people. And that place literally means strife or contention. So when you sit back and look at Meribah, the set apart contention. Like we were talking about last night, I ain't gonna be able to work that Solomon in. Like we were talking about last night, the spirit that's in you lusteth to envy. The ruach that's in you and that flesh war against one another, that you do the things that you ought not. There's a contention, there's a war going on. Who are you gonna let win? Are you gonna let the flesh win and perish, or will you let the word win and live? That's why he say life and death is before you. Blessing and cursing, good and evil. Look at Jeremiah 25 and 5, if I'm not mistaken, before I read this Jeremiah, John 15 and 1. $25 and 3. That ain't what I wanted, but it'll work. 25 and 2. I'm trying to remember what it is. I always forget, but that is not what I want. Listen to what he tell you. The which Jeremiah, the prophet, spake unto all the people of Yehuda and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Amnon, king of Yehuda, even unto this day, that is of the 23rd year, the word of Yahuwah have come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but you have not hearkened. That means he sent this man early, and you ain't listened. And Yahuwah has sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them. But you have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. That's why you need to set your heart on the word now. Set your heart on it. He said, but you done turned your head. They said, turn ye again now every man from his evil way and from the evil of your doing, and dwell in the land that Yahuwah hath given unto you and to your fathers forever, and go not after other gods to serve them, to worship them, to provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet you have not hearkened unto me, saith Yahuwah, that you might provoke me to anger with the works of your own hands to your own hurt. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, because you have not heard my words, I will send, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith Yahuwah, and Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, a hissing, and perpetual desolations. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. And his whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. And if you caught that, you can sit back and see the same thing that he said. That's the same thing he said in Revelation 18 that was going to happen in Babylon, didn't it? Because just like the man told you, as they done unto us, do it unto them. So the same way, now you sit back and look at it. This man say all your happiness and all your joy, because when I kept coming to you with this word and you don't want to listen, I'm going to take it from you. Now, do you see that he say he kept, this is another example why I say my personal opinion, that if he got to keep coming to you with the word and you don't believe it off the rip, you ain't never going to believe it. Because you just heard that for yourself, didn't you? That man say, I'm steady coming. I'm steady coming. I'm steady coming. And they steady ain't listening. They steady bucking. They steady doing what they want to do. And we sit back and we look at that and we always say, well, that ain't going to be me. But then you look at your behavior and it's you. Hold on one second, y'all. Look at Jeremiah 21:5. Just listen to what he tells you. And we'll hit this John 15 and get ready to get on out of here, man. I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a stretched arm, even in anger and fury and in great wrath. I will smite the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast, and they shall die of great pestilence. And afterwards, saith Yahuwah, I will deliver Zechariah, king of Yehuda, and his servants and the people, and such as are left in this city from the pestilence, from the sword, and from the famine, and the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and to the hand of their enemies, and to the hand of those that seek their life. He shall smite them with the edge of the sword. He shall not spare them, neither have pity, nor have mercy. Hold this and look at Hebrews 10:25. Now, you know why he's smiting them, right? Because I steady been sending these people to you and you ain't been listening, right? So he ain't going to have no mercy, no pity. 10:26, Hebrews 10:26. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins. Why you think he say he coming with a stretched out arm and that wrath if I kept sending these prophets to you day and night, rising up early, sending them and you ain't listening? But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries. I seen a young lady that I know posted that. She said the moment you go to fearing for your soul, you know what I'm saying? And then she was like, but then you remember the fear of Yahuwah, then you be at comfort. But I'm going to tell you something real. What you just heard what his book say. The only way you've got a fearful for your soul is because you've been willfully sinning. Because ain't nobody in this book ever feared for their soul and they ain't did nothing wrong. Have y'all read anywhere with somebody who was fearing for their soul and they did something wrong? And they ain't do nothing wrong. But how many times can we read for Yasharal looking for wrath and judgment because they did something wrong? I'm going to listen to him again. For if we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sore punishment suppose ye shall he be thought worthy, who have trodden under the foot the son of Elohim, and counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unkadesh thing, and have done despite unto the ruach of favor. Now I understood the young lady, probably the post that she made don't necessarily mean she was out here sinning, but I know that when I'm gonna look at it from judgment, me knowing the word, if you have a fearful look, it's because you doing stuff you ain't got no business. If you ain't doing nothing wrong, why would I fear? Don't you know if you ain't doing nothing wrong, you would have boldness towards Elohim? Wouldn't y'all agree with that? Why would you fear for your soul if you doing right? She sounded like a bad lawnmower then. Come on back to Jeremiah. I'm just being honest. That's just my judgment knowing the word. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be walking around here fearful for my soul and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You fearful for your soul because you know it's something you doing that ain't right or you lacking. You can't be fearful for your soul and fear Yah in the same thought process. That's a contradiction. Now you heard how he said he was going to smite him with the edge of the sword. He wasn't going to have no mercy. And ain't Hamashiach the sword. He don't have no mercy. Verse 8. And say unto this people, thou shalt say, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. Remember what way mean, right? The pathway to the highest to have your sins covered, right? Let's see if that makes sure that that's the word in both of them. Which way you gonna choose? What you gonna choose? Are you gonna be a tree that bring forth fruit, or you gonna be a tree that bring forth nothing? Because he say I sat before the way for before you. You can walk in Hashatan's way, or you can walk in my way. Which way you gonna walk in? And it's the same word. Pathway to the highest, right? The way of life. He that commits sin is of the devil. Ye of your father the devil. The lust of your father ye will do. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father but by me. Which way you gonna walk in? You gonna walk on the right-hand side and be a sheep to enter into the kingdom that the Father has promised unto you since the world began? Or you gonna be a goat on the left side prepared for eternal fire with the devil and his angels or his malachim? Which way you gonna go? The wages of sin is death if you're on the left-hand side. The payment for the slave of Yahushua who dwell in his house and love him is what? Eternal life. John 15:1. I was gonna say somebody must got some food out. I know when Lizzie do that, what that mean? Yakadan or John 15:1. I am the true vine and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch of me that bear not fruit, he take away. Destroy it. Cut it down. Then he said, you should build bulwarks against the city that make war with thee till it be subdued. That's a whole nother matter though. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abide in me and I in him, the same bring forth much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. And what did he say? Only the trees which thou know that they be not trees for me, thou shalt destroy and cut them down. Now, how would you know if the tree don't be for me? Because you'll know the tree by its fruits, right? If it's evil, it's Jeremiah 24. So let's look at it, see how you know these trees ain't gonna be for me. Huh? 24:1. Praise y'all. Indeed. Yahuwah showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of Yahuwah. After that, Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, and the princes of Yehuda, with the carpenters and smiths from Jerusalem, and brought them to Babylon. 1 basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe. And we know what's getting ready to come up. Pentecost, right? First ripe fruits, right? He said these first ripe, that means these firstborn sons, these good fruit. Good tree known by its fruit. We'll say that there because if we know we're dealing with Pentecost, we want to deal with some firstborn type stuff. He said the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. He said, man, if you know they don't be trees for meat, don't eat it. He had already told them that tree in the garden of good and evil wasn't for meat, wasn't it? They ate it though. Then said Yahuwah unto me, what see thou, Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu? And he said, and I said, figs, the good figs, very good, and the evil, very evil. They cannot be eaten. They are so evil. Again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, thus saith Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharal, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive of Yehuda, of whom I send out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. For I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them up and not pluck them down. I will plant them and not pluck them up. That's why the master say, every tree which my heavenly Father have not planted shall be pulled up. Because the priest ain't doing nothing but telling you what the Tanakh already told you, just telling you what the prophets say. I will give them a heart to know me, that I am Yahuwah, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall return unto me with their whole heart. He say, the world have not, what did he say? You're the Ruach of truth, but the world cannot receive. He say, but you shall know him, for he shall be in you. This is the good figs. These are the people whom he has chosen from the beginning through sanctification of the Ruach and belief for the truth. And you think everybody's supposed to make it? That man pulled out 2 baskets. Mine, Satan's. Straight up. Wheat, tares. Straight up. And as the evil figs which cannot be eaten, they are so evil. Surely thus saith Yahuwah, so will I give Zechariah, the king of Yehuda, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem that remain in his land, and them that dwell in the land of Mizraim. I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of their rats for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb, a dishonor, a taunt and a curse in all the places where I drivel them. And I will send the sword, the famine, the pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them to their father. He said, I'm coming to kill them. That means the sinners, I'm coming to take them out. And what made that happen? Because they were hearing the word and rejected it. Harden their hearts. Harden their hearts. That's a hard pill to swallow, man. But it's the reality of the word. Matthew chapter 13. We'll stop in Matthew 13. So you just sit back and look at it. You got to ask yourself. Because he said he was coming. Remember we read Luke 13 about the fig tree. He was coming to look for fruit. He didn't find no fruit. But then he say, now he also say, if they be not trees for meat. So you just sit back and look at it. It's some trees or people they're not to be meddled with. Do you know what I'm saying? They say evil communications corrupt good manners. What agreement does Belial have with Mashiach? What Mashiach have with Belial? What communion does light have with darkness? There are bad figs. So if you down with bad figs, that means you a bad fig, which means Yah is going to be your enemy, which means the fiery indignation that should devour the adversaries. You see how that go in together? That's, man, get your fruit good. That's all I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. And you could get Luke 8 and 11. Because I like this, what he's saying, Luke 8 and 11, after I read all that there. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, did thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, an enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, What wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, Lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. You notice how you say, leave that there while you trying to pull the tares up, you're going to snatch up the root. What he said, right? Leave the stump or the roots. I'm the vine. Just leave them there. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather you together first the tares and bind them in the bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. And you know what the wheat would be? The wheat going to be brought in his barn, which would mean his house, right? Which goes back to what? I'm a slave. I'm a prisoner of hope. I love my master. I want to stay in his house forever. You understand what I'm saying? 13 and 37. Well, 30, it's just 34. All these things spake Yahushua unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and the disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. And he answered and said unto them, he that sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed are the children of the kingdom. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. So what do we have again? Basket of good figs, basket of evil figs. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the Malachim. As therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. I want y'all to look at something. Well, no, I'm going to just save it for tomorrow. Because what I got in, most I will on tomorrow. Because what I got for that Psalms 106 is something all in itself. Because we'll sit back and show you how Moses had to basically be cut off for the people's sake. Not that necessarily, like you said, like we read it, because he leading us to it. Like we read in that Deuteronomy 32. Oh, you didn't sanctify me. This, that, there, and the third. But in Psalms 106, he clearly states it's the people's fault. It's the people's fault. It's the people's fault. He said it went ill with Moses for their sake. So that means it went bad for Moses for you. Just like it went bad for Yahushua for you. Luke 8 and 11. Now the parable is this: the seed is the word of Elohim. Those by the wayside are they that hear, then come the devil and take away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. They on the rock are they which when they hear, they receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. You see what that is? He say you hear it and you happy at the first, but when it's time for you to get tried, you didn't have no root. So you fall off. They which fell among the thorns are they which when they heard go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring forth no fruit to perfection. But that on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it and bring forth fruit with patience. Get Revelation 2 and 5. This man says good ground. You hear the word and you keep it with patience. That means you endure. That means persecution, tribulation, sufferings, afflictions, whatever the case may be. He said, you understand what he said? An honest and good heart. Good figs, sanctified from the beginning to the belief of the truth. Everybody ain't, that's not everybody. Why would this man tell you it's 4 types of people if everybody gonna make it? Why would this man tell you it's 4 types of ground if everybody gonna make it? Why would this man tell you, why do you think the word would have the effect on everybody? This man telling you it's 4 types of people in the earth and everybody fitted them 4. Some gonna hear it, not understand it. The devil gonna snatch away it in their heart lest they believe it and be saved. Some ain't gonna have no root. So when they can begin it, they gonna be happy about it. But when temptation come, they gonna fall away. Some the word get choked off because I want to be rich. I want to do this. I want to do that. Choke off the word. You can't bring forth no fruit, which means we got to cut you down. And then the last is out of honest and good heart. You not realize each one of them trees or that good ground or anything come up out of that tree got to be cut down because it ain't going to produce no fruit. Got to cut it down. Revelation 2 and 5. I think that's what we want. 2 and 7, actually. Well, we can read 2 and 5. It ain't going to hurt. I'll make 4. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee because thou hast left thy first love. Remember therefore from him whence thou art fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come unto thee quickly and remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent. Better remember what you were doing in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's telling you. He said, if you don't turn, I'm gonna cut you off. But this has thou hate the deeds of Nicolaitans, which I also hate. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the synagogues. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. Because the tree of the field is man's life, to allow you to enter in to see the face. And we know in Revelation chapter 22 and about verse 4, he said that you will see his face and his name will be in your forehead. Now wouldn't it? So Todah Yah for Yahushua in the word. We stop right now.